Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have an interesting video here, and it's gonna be a long one, probably cut in different parts. So we'll get to please a lot of the subscribers. Some like long videos and some don't. So I'm going to try to meet the middle. And as far as information, I try never to cut um important stuff. I usually just stop and not going to keep you hanging while I'm just taking a plastic cover or something that really is self-explanatory when you're even in the car by yourself doing. So I will try to, again, keep as much as possible on the video. I will set up the tripod and put the camera so you guys get to see what I'm doing. So far, I have just the hood open. The struts hold the hood open are not working, and I needed to put that. I need to disconnect the battery, but before I do that, I wanted to also tell you guys that it's always good before you jump into a work to drive the car and get yourself familiar with if it's enemies fires or so on. And this is more for like techs like me. Sometimes the customer doesn't realize that is not what he's fixing, and then he thinks that by putting a turbo, the car is going to run like brand new again, and then he has underlying issue with like coils or ejectors or something else that he's not addressing. So it's always important to at least explain that to the customer before you jump into put like $7,000 of parts or so on. I don't know. He got all the parts and I not even know how much that costs. But so I in this case this one it has a misfire. So these are the boxes I haven't even opened. He went and got all stuff, all this OEM, as you see with this packaging. So again, let me start. I will be removing this and the cabinet filter and that plastic in there because I need to get an access to put a hook in here. So I need to support the engine from the center because I need to remove pretty much the subframe. Luckily for me, this is not an all-wheel drive vehicle, so it's going to be a little easier. Okay. All right, as you can see, just remove that filter in there. Just pretty simple. Just a 8 millimeter. Now I'm about to remove this cover, which is why I've kind of like removed this, but still I need some more room in order to work a tab when I'm removing the exhaust. I'm in 3/8, and this should be 5 millimeters. I really love this microphone that I'm using right now. It takes away pretty much all the noise, which I'm very happy because that was one of the hardest things on editing the videos. I right now have to pretty much do no editing. I just want to make sure there is no uh, okay, one of the balls is missing. A lot of technicians don't put that on. I not even know why even the dealer does because it's just always on the way. Gotta be careful when you remove this with this hose. Either remove it or be careful because it's very easy to break. As far as this, we can just pull it out. And yeah, this is a direct injection. And you will know that when you have a hard tubing in between the fuel rail and the injectors. When it's a multi-port injectors, it will be on this side on the intake, right? Okay, so let's raise this baby up. I need to drain the coolant pretty much because it's going to be a lot of coolant passages in there. It looks like somebody's been here replacing tubing too. Coolant is low. I can see all these hoses new, which is good. Those are very good quality PVC lines, like the not like the ones the dealers kind of install, which is these ones. They break so easy that creates always vacuum issues. And we have a lot to take apart. All right, let me stop and race the car. Okay, guys. Sorry, I forgot to start the video again, but well, so what I have pretty much removed so far is just the outer tie rods, one of the lower control arms, and the sway bar link. What I usually do in order to get these ones out, I left the upper one with the subframe, and I'm going to remove the lower one. Always talking about the lower control arms, but we call the one facing down the lower and the one facing up the upper lower control arm. So what I usually do is with a pry bar, because they usually start to spin. I have these pry bar from Matco, and the nice about this one is you can push and extend and size in the front. You can adjust the hook in different positions, and then I usually just grab one of the bolts that holds the hub, and then loose up the bolt or the nut in this case. The sway bar links, it's a 16 millimeter that you can hold with a wrench on the back, so that's very easy. And all the nuts on the tie rod and on the lower control arms are 21 millimeter. Let me see, make sure you guys are, yeah, it's pointing good. So again, what I'm going to do on this side then is just remove the bolt from the lower control arm. This should be an 18, it is. So once you already lose it, then you can use a 3/8 ratchet. It's not going to be strong enough to release. That's the opposite way. And the knot is coming on the other side. Probably better if I remove this now because a little tight in there. It's always a little, like kind of like the thread holds the bolt on the frame or subframe. I have not still put the engine bracket to support it, so I have not removed any of the subframe except for the kind of like has like a cross member here that holds by three 16 millimeter bolts on each side, so a total of six. Again, this is just my personal preference to leave this one in here because it's usually very hard to get it out of the knuckle and then you have to hit it. I don't like to mark the knuckle or damage the ball joint itself, which will be damaged if you try to remove it into that one. Hopefully this is not gonna be, no, it's not gonna be in the way. That is just a thread holding on this side. Like I said, it's you gotta like unthread it, even that it's not really being held by anything. You gotta be careful here with the ABS sensor, because since you leave that ornament here, it might try to damage it. It's just plain tough on me. All right, got it out. See, it's the thread holding in there. Just use the same wrench as a puller. All right, so and then let me put the nut on the bolt. Keeping everything on trays, especially since we're going to be taking a lot out. And then all you got to do is just, while I leave this one here, it's very easy to just keep it there. And that also is going to allow me to hook it. You can either do the hook on the brake caliper. This is just to keep it away. It's not really that important to pull it too hard. Make sure it's hold or held. So that should be plenty. It's not on my way. I leave the sway bar here in the upper control arm. These rack and pinion is gonna be hanging in here. We got the hoses, and this one is. I mean, this car has a big oil leak in the front, or it used to have, because I can see pieces of belt, of old belt. This came out from the engine cover, and I also see that the belt, whoever installed it, is out of the power steering pump, like halfway. And it's not to blame whoever installed it. It's probably all the oil around. So we'll see how that goes. So now let me focus you guys on the other side. Then you get to see how I remove at least this control arm. So again, it's a 21 millimeter. I try always see if it comes out. And my battery is dead. Yep. So let me use the other cam so I don't have to replace the battery and take time for that. Well, I didn't have to do what I was going to show because that one came out. It came out, and I can see it also that it's moving. See? So it came out with no problems. If it's been on you, all you gotta do again is try to say, try yourself to put the pry bar here and hold the inner ball on the hub. All right, so let me see what else I can remove. I did the same thing on that side, follow the sway bar and then secure the suspension part, which is a knuckle and strut. And so with just two bungees, be careful when you put those and sit on, come back and hit you in the face. And now I'm thinking on the rack and pin itself. Those are E12s. Cause yeah, the rack and pinion completely will be on my way. I can either remove it or do as I have seen many people do it, which is they kind of like, like fish it out of the subframe and then do the same thing when they're going up. But I like to work with space and not things hanging on my face. So I think I'm going to remove it. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I got the two fittings in here, very easy. You will just have to catch the oil, and then I have to take the coupler or coupling from here, which is the only one that I see a little harder to get, but not outrageously hard. Because then I can remove it and then work with much more room. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to secure the steering up top. I don't know if I mentioned it before or not. Always disconnect the battery. So this is what I'm going to use to secure the steering straight. You put this on the seat and then it grabs the steering wheel. Make sure it's center. So when you put it back, it's in the same spot. Like right now, it's not. So all we're going to do is go to one end and then count 1, 2, almost 3. So I can go half a turn back and then one more. That should be straight ahead. And you do this so you don't damage the clock spring. And I have my meaty bag. This is the MB7300. I wanted to suck all the fluid from the reservoir, so I have to wait half an hour underneath when I'm removing the rack and pinion just leaking. Also, hopefully you guys can see This is the hook that you use also for towing. Right here next to the air filter, oh, sorry, the well, air filter, oil filter, there is a specific thread where you will put your motor bracket or stand, or well, it's not really a stand, to hold the engine so it doesn't fall on your face. Oh my God, I'm seeing, I mean, whoever working here really was a butcher, because I'm seeing a detentioner for the, one second, guys. I am looking at the tensioner for the belt, and that thing is just destroyed. I'm talking about the that uses a T60 or T65. I think it's a T60 to move it back and forth. Hopefully, you guys can see. I'm going to try to show you as much as you can, or as much as I can. A little hard. Let me take the camera off the tripod. I know it's going to be a weird angle, but I wanted to save this for myself. And as you can see, that is completely destroyed. And I might gonna need to remove that. So we'll see.